Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm here to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire character, those Game of Thrones books. And which character we're talking about? Well, the elder brother. We don't actually know his name, and we'll get to it. That's what we're going to cover. Squeaky chair. Yeah, the elder brother from the Quiet Isles. This was a character who was just in one Brienne chapter, and I got to re-listen to that chapter, and man, I made this video a lot longer than I thought I was gonna. Holy crap. But I'm also kind of going to discuss the Gravedigger thing because it's very involved with this character. So I pretty much cover the majority of her stay at Quiet Isle, that whole chapter. So yeah, if you don't know what's going on here, this is what's going on. I will leave this up so you can pause it, read it, right? But mind the all caps there, spoilers for the books, because I will be talking specifically about a book chapter. And yeah, possibly the show. I don't think too much of a show spoiler here. They kind of did this character in the show. They melded Septa with the elder brother, and they called him Brother Ray. Yeah, they even went and got Ian McShane. It's nuts. But yeah, let's just cover the elder brother though. This guy specifically. So yeah, the elder brother. The elder brother is a leader of the septry on a Quiet Isles. He is reputed to have powers as a healer. Yeah, he's a really good healer. That's his class. He's a priest. The elder brother's given name is unknown. He's not a priest, but he is a brother. The elder brother is a tall man with a large square head, shrewd eyes, and a veiny red nose and a heavy jaw. He shaves his head into a tonsure. I don't know how to say it. Somebody's going to tell me in the comments. You guys always know more than me. But it's like that fryer thing, right? Like where they just cut up here, just the up top, right? And fryer tuck stuff. But his scalp is stubby, as is his jawline. He looks more like a knight than a holy man, and he moves with the strength of a man in his prime. Yeah, he's a big dude. He used to be a drunkard and is ashamed of his past behavior. The elder brother was born the third son of a family of knights, and his father, grandfather, and brother were all knights. He was trained to fight from the day he was old enough to hold a wooden sword. He saw many battles and did well in them without disgrace. However, he did assault some women, which is bad, and then he is now considers it very shameful. He's very ashamed of his actions. I'm not excusing them. I'm just saying that he's ashamed of them. When he was not fighting, he was drunk. He wished to marry a younger daughter of a petty lord, but as a third son, he had nothing to offer her but the shield, sword, and horse of his knighthood. Yeah, he was just a third son of a knight, and he was a knight himself. We don't know what family he's a part of, if it's like actually some named landed knights, and we'll get to that later on. So, since we don't know the house, we're going to cover Faith of the Seven. So if you guys don't know what's going on with Faith of the Seven, this is actually really relevant for this episode. The Faith of the Seven, also referred to as the Holy Faith or simply the Faith, is a dominant religion in most of the Seven Kingdoms. Followers of the Faith are rare in the north and the Iron Islands because they got their own gods going on. The gods of the Faith are sometimes called the new gods to differentiate them from the old gods of the first men. Members of the faith worship the seven who are one, a single deity who with seven aspects or faces. The male and female godsworn of the faith are called septons and septas, respectively. Upon taking their vows, they set aside their last names, even if they do come from noble houses. Yeah, there's some that come from noble houses. So yeah, I think I've talked about the Faith of the Seven when I did the High Septim from the Faith Militant era. I did a video for that guy, and then I also covered Septa Lemore. So yeah, I've covered the septons and septas before. So yeah, all right, let's keep going on about the elder brother, whoever this guy is. The Battle of the Trident. Yeah, what? He was there. He fought for House Targaryen at the Battle of the Trident. serving as a lord who served a lord who chose to support the Mad King rather than Robert, right? So it's just the side of the coin he fell on. So he even says when he's talking to Brienne later on, he even says, like, if the guy who I served Robert, I could have just as easily been supporting Robert. Like, he had no stake, right? He was just there doing what he was told to do. He was shot in the thigh and the foot, and his horse was killed, but he still fought on. Well, desperate to find another horse, he could not afford a new one and could not be a knight without a horse. A blow from behind knocked him unconscious, and he fell into the Trident. Others thought him dead, so they stripped him of armor and possessions and pushed his body down the rivers. The battle was this is him saying it, should I do like a voice? The battle was a bloody thing. The singers would have us believe it was all Rhaegar and Robert struggling in the stream for a woman they both loved or claimed to love. But I assure you, other men were fighting too. I was one. Yeah, so then he floated downstream where he woke up naked on the Quiet Isles. He spent the next 10 years patient under a vow of silence. At some point, he became the elder brother of the Quiet Isles, and he took residence in a cave called the Hermit's Hole. He gained reputation there as a great healer. Yeah, we're going to get to the Hermit's Hole if we pay the troll toll in here in a second. But yeah. Now, so let's actually get into Brienne's chapter as she's going into the Quiet Isles, right? So the Quiet Isles. In Brienne's travels through the Riverlands and Crownlands, Brienne, Sir Hyle Hunt, Sir Podrick Payne, and Septim Maribald. I also covered Septim Maribald a long time ago. Come to the Quiet Isles on their way to Salt Pans. So, yeah, this is like when Brienne's companions are in full swing, right? She has the entire D&D crew, right? It's Brienne, the warrior, right? Hyle Hunt, the other warrior. Podrick Payne, I don't know what class he is. Just the familiar, I guess. And then Septim Maribald, they're on their like little D&D quest. All right. So Maribald claims that brothers will feed them and his dog named Dog. The Quiet Isles is a upthrust island that sits in the mouth of the Trident where it flows into the Bay of Crabs, southeast of Salt Pans and northwest of Maidenpool. Right. Its septry is southwest. Yeah, I was right. Its septry is a refuge for those sworn to the faith of the Seven. Those who dwell on the Quiet Isles are male practitioners seeking to atone for their sins, right? So they are not priests, really. They are brothers of the faith. They're calling, but they're there just kind of to atone. It's kind of a weird thing where I always assumed that at least the elder brother was like a Septon, but he's never called a Septon. And even when Maribald shows up, all the brothers there ask to do confession to Maribald. So I don't think these guys are Septons. I was saying priests are really Septons. They're kind of just taking this vow of silence and looking to atone for them, their sins, right? So just clear something up I said earlier. Those who dwell on the, all right, I already said that. Only the elder brother and his proctors are permitted to speak on the island, and the proctors only 1 day in 7. The brothers are allowed to break their silence when confessing, as it is hard to speak of sin with signs and nods. As they arrive, 3 men clad in brown robes meet them. 2 have their mouths covered, and the third tells them that they are welcome, and he offers them some fish stew. So this is a proctor. So the one that speaks is a proctor named Narbert. Great name. Not. All right. He directs them to their quarters and then introduces them to the elder brother. Now Narbert is yeah, he says they're gonna go introduce. He's not there yet. Narbert is surprised that Brienne is a woman, and then goes on to explain that women rarely come to the Isle, but when they do, it's often to seek healing, and that the older brother is blessed with healing hands, so he's a really good healer, and that he has restored many men and women that even maestards cannot help. So yeah, he's like really gifted in healing. Brienne tells Narbert that she is hunting the hound, so he brings her to see the elder brother, and they head down a pebbled path through some apple trees and some stables. But there's something going on in the stables, so we're gonna have to talk about it. All right, the Hermit's Hole. Sounds bad. The stables are mostly empty except for some mules and a big black stallion who has mauled two of the brothers they're calling Driftwood, right? The group leave their horses there, and on a hill, they pass a huge cloaked novice digging graves. I do get two different songs anytime I talk about the Gravedigger theory. I get Gravedigger from Dave Matthews Band stuck in my head. I'm not a huge Dave Matthews Band fan, but I do like that song. And then Digging My Grave from William Elliott Whitmore. Yeah. There you guys go. I'm just letting you know. Whenever I talk about the Gravedigger, I get those two songs. Gravedigger stuck in my head. Okay. a little peek into the noggin. All right. The original. All right. Where was I? Yeah, they see the Gravedigger digging his grave. The man appears lame, as in, injured, crippled. But they cannot see his face. The grave is for a brother killed at salt pans. They arrive at a wooden door on the side of a hill. Narbert, horrible name, calls it the Hermit Hole, the Hermit's Hole. The original residents of the first holy man to live on the Quiet Isle, roughly 2,000 years ago. Wow, that's really a long time ago. Currently, the elder brothers occupy the cave, though it was once a muddy cave, right? Now, woolen carpets cover the ground and tapestries cover the wall, and it's a cozy little sanctum. Yeah, it's not quite just like a little hole anymore. The cave contains a long table, a settle, all right, a chest, cups, and several tall cases full of books and chairs. They are all made of polished driftwood, which appears golden in the light from tall beeswax candles. Yeah, that's a cool little place. The elder brother was not as Brienne expected, as she judged him much bigger and less elderly than she assumed. Yeah, she's like, not much of an elder, right? He doesn't look like an elder, even though he's the elder brother. He looked more like a man made to break bones than one to heal them, or heal a bone, she thought. Heal a bone. As the elder brother strode across the room to embrace Septa Marigold and pat Dog, he says, it's always a... Oh, wait, no, that's how I was doing like this. It's always a great day when our friends Marigold honor us with a gift, with a visit. Marigold and Dog. Did I get it? Did I get it wrong? Yeah, so now we're over to the Hermit's Hole. Now we're finally actually meeting the elder brother. But I wanted to paint this whole scene because, like I said, this kind of entire chapter is important for the elder brother. If I skipped over different pieces, a lot of it's not going to make sense later. So yeah, a strange meal, right? The elder brothers the elder brother then greets the others and performs his courtesies. He's like, hey, how's it going, doctor, right? When the group tells him that they are hunting the hound, his smile then fades and he says, I see. Then he turns away and offers them some cider in cool, like, driftwood cups, right? He goes on to talk about everything that the river washes up. So he's like talking about how the river gives them stuff like swords, driftwoods, silver cups, rubies, and more, right? I'm not listing them all. And then Heil Hunt is like, rubies? Like Rhaegar's rubies? And yeah, he's like, maybe. Like, we don't know. Not all of them yet. Not all the river's gifts are pleasant. The river washes up bodies as well, and the Gravedigger buries them next to each other. Lannister men and Stark men and women and children. So pretty much anybody, they get buried together. It doesn't matter, right? So it's kind of symbolism of like Lannister and Stark men. Maybe they're trying to kill each other when they're alive, but when they're dead, they're just men again. All those allegiances and all that bitterness and all that war, it doesn't matter anymore because they're dead, and they are all buried together. They're all just men, right? Like, that's the cool symbolism we're getting here. Elder brother asks if Maribald can do confession for the other brothers since the raiders burned Salt Pan. Yeah, so they lost the septon there is dead or whatever, right? So with Salt Pans destroyed, they all need to do confession with them. He goes on to talk about the horrors that happened there. Yeah, so this is right after the raid on Salt Pans, which I'm going to get that too. So he doesn't spare Brienne any of the details, and I'm sparing you guys of the details, though. He also talks of Sir Quincy locking the small folk out of the keep so they could be attacked by the raiders. So Quincy Cox is the landed knight there. He's in charge of Salt Pans, and then when the raiders attacked, he doesn't go out to protect anybody. He just kind of locks his door, and they try to get in, and they're like, oh, screw it. And because they can't get in, they just kill and do awful stuff. And I am not going to talk about it. I think the raid on Salt Pans, especially what Elder Brother tells them what happened there, it's really, really rough. It's up there in some of the rougher stuff in the books. And Elder Brother makes a point to not spare Brienne of it because he's like, if you want to wear men's armor, I'm not going to treat you like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, if you want to be a warrior, let's talk about it. And then he tells her all the awful atrocities that happened there. So yeah. Sorry, I got to make this big. Elder Brother then, yeah, asks. So he talks about Sir Quincy locking them all out so they can be attacked by the raiders. Maribald forgives Quincy Cox, but the Elder Brother and Brienne do not. They're like, no, he's a knight. He should have protected them. And they disagree there. The Elder Brother invites and asks if they want to go to the Sept to pray before dinner of meat and mead with all of the other brothers. They agree, and Dog barks in agreement. Brienne finds the meal strange but good. Loaves of bread still warm from the oven, fresh butter, honey from the septry's hives. Yeah, they make their own honey. They got like beehives. It's super cool. And thick stew of crabs and mussels, and at least 3 fish. Yeah, so they have like a kind of like a fish stew too, with seafood in it. It's pretty good. Hyle, Hunt, and Maribald drink the mead, and they loved it. They're like, dude, this is really good mead. You brothers know what's up. All right, so after the strange meal, we're just going to keep going. Speaking alone. So yeah, so after dinner, the Elder Brother speaks in private with Brienne, and he shows her to her place to sleep because Pod is like, but I sleep with like next to Brienne, and then they're like, yeah, well, whatever you guys do is between you guys and the 7, but when you're staying here, men and women, unless they're married, don't sleep in the same bed, right? So so that she gets her own very modest place to sleep, right? He points her across the water, so as he's walking to this place, he points across the water to where you usually can see lights and fires from Salt Pans, but they see nothing because the town has just been decimated, right? He speaks more of the burning and the screaming from the attack, saying that the raiders went there for a ship and they did not get one, so they tore the entire town apart. He asks what she seeks in Salt Pans, and she explains that she is... I have to do this to David Reed's A Song of Ice and Fire. This is how I listen to the books. And anytime I get to Brienne, I have to say... a high-born maid of 3 and 10 with high-born hair. With a fair face and high-born hair. A description that the Elder Brother immediately recognizes Sansa Stark. Wow, is this guy good or is he good? He informs Brienne that she had heard from Tiberian, what he had heard from Tiberian was incorrect, and that it was Arya whom Sansa held captive. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with Timian, so she is like Timian of the Brave Companions who she killed, right? With Nimble Dick. When Nimble Dick died in the Whispers, I did a video for Nimble Dick. And something Marable. Did I already say that? I think that's it. And Hyle Hunt. Wow. Okay. I'm covering everybody. Yeah, well, I love Brienne's story through this book. So I try to cover as much Brienne as possible. Anyways, she heard from Timian and Shagwell. She heard from Timian that that Sansa was with the Hound, so that's why she starts chasing the Hound. But Timian didn't lie. She wasn't misinformed. She misunderstood, and he misunderstood. He just said Stark Girl. He knew it was Arya, but she just assumed Sansa, and that's when he's like, no. Tyrion, you weren't misinformed. You just misunderstood. I said misinformed here, I believe, but no, you just misunderstood. It wasn't it wasn't Sansa that was with the Hound, but it was with Arya, right? And that's very important. They're completely different characters. So, yeah, and so she says that she is shocked that both Lady Catelyn's daughters may yet still be alive. Yeah, that's good news, right? And the older brother says may be alive. Sorry, I'm itching my head. It's itchy. Or she might have died at Saltpans. She is equally surprised when he informs her that Sandor Clegane is dead, right? Not alive. The elder brother says that he buried Sandor and left his hound helm to mark his grave, which he feels was a great error because another person, Rorge, took it, right, and raided Saltpans with it. So everybody thinks it's the Hound, but really it wasn't, because when he buried the Hound, he left the Hound helmet out, right? And that Sandor is innocent in the crime of burning Saltpans, saying that the man who blank, I'm not saying this word, and killed at Saltpans was not Sandor. Sorry. Oh, should I be doing it in his? The man who killed and blanked at Saltpans was not Sandor Clegane, though he may be as dangerous. The Riverlands are full of such scavengers. I will not call them wolves. Wolves are nobler than that, and so are dogs, I think. Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of truth bombs that she's getting dropped. Like, Sandor's was alive, now he's dead, right? Don't worry, we'll get to it. I know about it. Wait, okay. And that Arya's alive, and that wasn't the Hound who did all that. Like, he's just explaining all this to her, right? It was Rorge. I don't think I ever get to it. I don't think it's important. So, Sandor Clegane. The elder brother goes on to speak of what he knew of Sandor, and that even in the Quiet Isle, they heard his deeds, both good and bad, and that he was a bitter and tortured man. He speaks of Sandor softly, and Brienne asks if the brother pitied him, and he answers, I did. You would have pitied him as well. And if you had seen him at the end, I came upon him in the Trident, drawn by his cries of pain. He begged me for the gift of mercy, but I am sworn not to kill again. So he just like bathed him and gave him wine and made him like comfortable. And Sandor then died in his arms. Wow. And he tells Brienne that the black horse in the stables was Hound's horse Stranger. So they call him Driftwood because he came out of the river, right? Just like Sandor. Well, Sandor didn't come out. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, he did actually. But they call him Driftwood because Stranger is a blasphemous name, especially for the brothers, right? Brienne states that it is true that Sandor is asked. So she states, yeah, it's weird. It's framed like a question, but she goes, it's true. Sandor is truly dead. Like, that's how she's saying it. And the elder brother says, he is at rest. right? Those words are very important. We'll get to it later. He changes the subject and tells her that he is 44 years old and he used to be a knight. Brienne is not surprised because he looks like he used to be a knight. He's a big burly dude. He says that his entire family were knights. This is stuff I covered earlier, but this is when it comes out in the actual book, and how it all changed after he, quote, died in the Battle of the Trident, and how he was wounded and woke up naked on the Isle. And he says, we were all born naked, so I suppose it was only fitting that I came into my second life the same way. I didn't do the voice that time. My throat kind of hurts. He asked Brienne to give up on her quest to find Sansa and return home. Like, he's like, just give up. They're like, this is nothing. There's nothing good out here. Go home. Saying that her father would rather have a living daughter than her broken shield. To this, Brienne tearfully confesses her family's sad history. Yeah, she tells him everything about all of her travels, right? About Nimble Dick, about Shagwell, about Jaime confessing at Harrenhal. She buries her soul to this dude. Yeah. It's a really intense moment, actually. Where was I? Confesses, her sad story and her life since she left Tarth. So all the adventures so far, that she must find Sansa or die trying. Like, that's the whole point, or else it's all for nothing. After Brienne and her companions leave the Quiet Isle, Brienne thinks that the elder brother had at least convinced her not to look for Sansa along the Trident. She wonders if she should return Oathkeeper to Jaime and return home as the elder brother had urged. She then runs into the man in the Hound's armor. And that's all we get for the elder brother. That'll happens in Brienne's next chapter. So he's only in this one chapter as far as so far, right? And the guy in the Hound's armor, of course, is Rorge. So if you want to go watch my Rorge and Biter, let's talk about the difference. I cover both Rorge and Biter, and they're involved in what happens next. And I don't want to spoil it if you don't know. So, yeah. All right, cool. Let's get into theories. This is a 30-minute video, man. Holy crap. All right, Gravedigger, when you dig my grave. I'm a professional singer, by the way. No, I'm not. Now, the main theory here, like the main as in the most talked about, is the Gravedigger theory. So the one that the Hound is actually alive, and he is the large man digging graves. So this is a very old theory. It's one of the first ones I ever heard, and I have no clue where it started. I actually tried to look, but any post or video, they either credit somebody or they talk about it as if it's already existed. So I don't know where this one showed up. I definitely love this theory, and I do hope it's true, and I hope Sandor stays there. I hope he's out of the books. Him having a life of peace is a perfect ending to his brutal story. And yeah, I'm not the first person to say that, but yeah, I want both him to be the Gravedigger, and I don't want Clegane Bull. I don't want him to come back. I don't want it to be like the show, and then he rejoins the fight, and then we just get more of the Hound, and the Hound hasn't learned anything, and right away he does something violent, and he becomes violent again like in the show, and then joins everybody, and then he dies violently. No, I don't want that. He's atoning. He's atoning for his sins right now. He's this big, broken man in more than one way. Man, don't you guys wish that this guy who was asked and forced to do awful things and became to enjoy and love doing awful things finally realized that it was wrong, and that he just wants to serve this septry and just dig graves because he's a big dude, and that's it, and just atone in silence and think about all he's done wrong. That's a beautiful ending. These books don't do beautiful endings much. If they leave the Hound here and we never even get confirmation that he's the Gravedigger and we never see him again, I would be absolutely happy. All right, let's talk about the other brother. As for the other brother himself, there are a few posts. I found quite a lot. So starting with Westeros.org post by Summer Dance from 2014 called "The Elder Brother is Morgarth." This is just the description of the character. Morgarth is like the same as the one for the elder brother. Nothing else really makes sense for me. I don't know why the elder brother would be there. So the Morgarth, the Mary is one of Littlefinger's like hedge knights, right? So he like I don't know. Okay, so they're described similarly, but why would the elder brother be doing that? Like that's what I don't get. I don't buy that just because there's got to be a lot of huge bald guys with broken veins in their nose. Like they're around. Another Westeros.org post from 2014 by Fragile Bird called "Who is the Elder Brother?" And that concludes that he is a knight from House Derry. It's a very long post. And I don't buy it. You guys can find it. That's what it's called. This is who it's from. Just Google, who is the elder brother, and this will pop up. Trust me. But yeah, I don't buy it. It seems like he's a house of landed knights, not like a proper lordly house. Like he does state he wanted to marry a petty lord's daughter. Why would a third son of Derry think it's like moving on up? Like he would have said I was a third son of a lord. Right? Because Derry's a big, important house, but he says a third son of a knight, right? We don't know if he's a landed knight, right? But it seems if he is from a actual house, it's a house of landed knights. And finally, there was a Reddit post from 3 years ago by L. Chris, the elder brother on the Quiet Isles, and that tosses out that he could be from House Brune of Brown Hollow. And this is actually a knightly house, but I think it's closer, but I still don't buy it. There's just not enough evidence for me to actually, say he's any of these people. I don't have a guess, though it can be any of these. Why not, right? So, but he's a fantastic character, and I'm happy I finally got to cover him. Yeah, just like Maribold, he has some really amazing... Dude, I love Feast for Crows, and I absolutely love Brienne's story. And in Feast for Crows, because I like all the people who she runs into. And Nimble Dick Crab's one of my favorite characters of all time. Everybody knows that. Maribold's amazing, but this guy is too. I really like all the things he said, and I like the idea of him finding Sandor Clegane and making him comfortable and not letting him die, even if he didn't. And then when she goes, so it's true, he's dead, he goes, he's at rest. And that might mean, yeah, he's dead. Or it might mean, no, but he's fine. Don't worry about him. He's resting. You'll never have to worry about the Hound again. And if all this is true, I really like the older brother. He's great, dude. But yeah, there you guys go. That was my video for the elder brother. What do you guys think? What do you think of this character? What do you think of the Gravedigger theory? I'd be surprised if anybody's like, no, he's just a guy digging graves. Mind your own business. I'm surprised if you actually don't believe it. And also, who do you think the elder brother is? And yeah, that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching. You have a good rest of your weekend, and peace.